I wake up knowing, just as the day will be a surprise, I don't know what it will be. No matter how much I have a programmed, calculated routine, who said God can't surprise me? Who says something of a little girl can happen and provoke me a joy? I don't know. Who says this can't happen? So, looking at the life we have, this year we have, it's as if we gave God the right. Look, sir, I want to be surprised for a new time. I want to allow my destruction, that everything that has ruined in me this year, be a profound teaching that fills me with wisdom, that grants me the grace to identify everything that can be even more beautiful in me. Because this is our desire. It is making our way of being beautiful, beautiful, fair, true. The reality is very attractive when it condenses these three realities. She is beautiful. She is fair. She is true. When we are willing to live Christianity, we do not want to, but to allow the beauty of God to be reflected in us, that are reflected in our attitudes. How does a Christian recognize the other? The way you welcome. I can say, handsome, that I live the gospel, that I am minister of this, minister of that. I am a priest. I am a prophet. But if I treat a person who approaches, I give her a county tem, I froze in it a disbelief of my Christianity. Worse, I get unbelieving of myself, which is the great trap of the devil in us, is when it makes us get stuck in those petty shops that we know what we know from our Christianity, because it is not the judgment of the other who drops me. What I do when I lie my head on my pillow and I know I do not act Christian. It is like this, my people, increasingly allowing this light to reach our conscience, radically transform our way as we look at us, the way we look at each other. This light that floods our room, removing everything that is dim, which makes us stumble in the middle of the dark. When the room is too dark, it is a danger to walk in it. We stumble. We can get hurt because it is missing this light that guides you, which allows you to walk safely. And God enlightens our conscience more and more. This is the life project we need to have for 2015. That our conscience is increasingly enlightened so that God gives us conditions to recognize where we make mistakes, where we are petty, where we are not acting in a beautiful, fair, true way. Then we are entering the year as every Christian needs to enter. A responsibility that puts us hours of life we want to reap. So be honest. Look at the seeds you have sown in your life. Look at the seeds you have sown in the other's life. Brands of what is gone. Dreams we will have. We always need to articulate what is gone with what we will still have. Life is much more beautiful when we can manage these two realities, the past and the future, wisely. Even because the present, this moment we have now, is the two-stroke articulation. One that I no longer have, and the other that I didn't even expect. So this wisdom putting me on the possibility of seeing my present time as an opportunity to enforce the past I had, with all the difficulties, with everything that was painful to me, and at the same time, not allowing what to might was painful to keep me from dreaming a better future. You who participate in my life so directly, you who accompany me, you who are my friend. Yeah. When we identify people who are articulating dreams similar to ours, in a time where there is so much war, where there is so much disagreement around the world, we find people who are making their personal effort to establish bridges instead of breaking them. Don't allow prejudice to move us away from each other. That prejudice prevents us from meeting people who sometimes we judge. In a time where the world has been so cruel, we have reduced cruelty in the space that is possible. You identify people who are doing this too. This generates a friendship, a Christian fraternity. Even if another is there in Indonesia and me here in Brazil, knowing that this man who loves in a different language with different customs is looking for the same ideals as me, makes me friends with him, even if we never attend to each other's house. Looking at the brands of what we lived throughout this year, learning for what we can live from now on. I say again, the difficulty of my year was very great, but at the same time so peaceful, so visited by hope. Because that is what God moves me, living. I cannot bear witness to my faith if I am discouraged with life, as much tribulations I have. Maybe you have heard me. One of the tough episodes of my life this year was that my house has literally fell. A very strong rain in Taubaté. The structure of my roof was not built as it should be to support a very large volume of water. Water entered all the conduits. I lost all the wooden floor. I lost the rooms. The whole house plaster ceiling fell, collapsed. It was a very sad thing. I remember I was traveling, and when I got home, I've seen it for the garden. I've seen that something very serious had happened. It was on March 9th. When the teak waited for me to go down from the taxi, she hugged me already crying. I remember right as if it were today. She told me like this. Please be calm with everything you will see. And when I entered, guys, it was a horrible view of seeing the fruit of your work. Your commitment. Your things. All that just Luca, my puppy. And it was impressive how God healed me through that creature at that moment, Even those wide, alone, happy because I was coming home, not knowing the meaning of that destruction because he didn't even know that it was destroyed. He just wanted to find me. His friend had been 15 days away, traveling, and was coming back at that time. He had no intention of looking at me with some look other than the joy of seeing me. And it is as if, at that moment, God made me understand through the non-understanding of Luca, the tragedy, that life can always be beautiful since we find a reason, although it is small, for us to start over in our history. What is a destroyed house? Anything. Is it a financial loss? And what we can't allow is that the house falls inside us. What we cannot allow is that the structure that supports us can crumble through the problems we face. I don't have a child to hug me when I come back. Maybe you have. You may have people who can mean all your disasters, all your tragedies at the moment you get home and hug you. At that moment, Teek's hug was a livelihood for myself. But what God spoke in me through that creature, who does not understand anything about tragedy, to identify at that moment the voice of God speaking in me, just as Francis of Assisi said through nature, through the animals, committed me even more with all that I needed to drop inside me with that house. Because sometimes it's not just a falling wall, it's not just a roof that collapses, it's human structures within us that need to crumble. Our attachment, who knows? Our attachment to what is material. And suddenly when I looked at all that we can materially rebuild, and I saw my friend who could not have been rebuilt if he had been killed, just as we look at a father, a mother, a child. And you realize that this is not material that can be rebuilt. That if the disease takes us, if death shakes us, A wall you rebuild, a ceiling you tidy up, a gate that fell you get up, a garden that has been destroyed, you rebuild. Now a person does not walk. A human being will always be the greatest preciousness we can have in history, in our personal history. The love we love, the forgiveness we give, everything we live in the daily lives of our house, with our parent, with our brothers, with our friends. At that moment, the hug of Luca, that smiling look at me told me that. Glad you came back. Full stop. Glad you are here. Full stop. And then after we find someone who tells us, good that you are here, with a tail that swings or a voice that is possible to be said, how good you came. How good you came. How good you arrived. Good that you eats part of my life. So we're on the right track, my people. This year I want peace in my heart. So let's do our part, right? I want peace. I will build my relationships. I will close the doors that I need to close for everything that is harmful to me. I can have the courage to close doors, no matter how painful it is to close that door. Because I know that open door does not bring me peace. It is life change. New Year's Eve is a wonderful time for us to take stock. Trade takes stock. Trade identifies what gives damage and what not. And the good entrepreneur is the one who changes what is causing him damage. The good entrepreneur is one who, the moment he takes stock of his company, his store, his vendinha, what it is, finds that he needs to change some attitudes in his way of working, in his way of acting, so that it does not continue to bitter damage. The same thing we need to do through our effective life. Start paying attention to the relationships that we feed throughout the year. What is harmful to us in this relationship? Establish, score. Is it right? It's my right. It's your right to look at the structure of your life and have the right to change what you think will be better for your personal freedom. Your way of being of God, creating this peace. You, the builder of your peace. You establish inside your home the breakdown of these barriers that get us so away. I like to always say that it is very easy for us to build gasabans indoors. It is very easy for us to separate our brother from our life. I say this to you through what I experience in my daily life. How hard it is to articulate affection in a healthy manner in a balanced way. Being too much loved is bad. Being loved less, is it bad? A peace is the moment when we established a bond that really gives us conditions to be who we are. I want peace in my heart, whoever wants to be. Having a friend and give me a hand is the meaning of the Christian community. We can be friends, yes, friends of the word that unites us, friend of the gospel that congregates us, friends of the sacrament that feeds us, friend of the meetings. Also, friend of intimacy. What we cannot give up is to establish this universal fraternity. We need to be friends of humanity. We need to feed on each other this feeling of respect that makes me look at each other with the respect he deserves. Not to feel the right to invade what I can't, or treat him with disrespect. To impose his bales that are not his. This friendship is so beautiful, my people. When we find out that each one in the place where they live, with the people with whom it lives, is crashing the same ideal, fighting for the same ideal. We want to be better people. December 15th. And I followed, even without answering, because it is impossible. I followed the demonstrations of people from all over Brazil, saying, "Oh, Father, congratulations on your day." I kept thinking about the meaning of so many people wanting to congratulate me that day, and I realized this delicate web that unites us, right? I am a priest who participates in the lives of these people. I am a priest who I am friends with these people without knowing that I am out, and that this friendship This fraternity, it is spiritually fed. It's not even face to face. No. You know, I know that someone is wanting my good right now, even if you don't participate in my life. Although I do not hit the door of my house, even if not with me in my daily life, this fraternity is possible when we identify that we want the good of the other. That I want only the good of the other. Brands of what was dreams that we will have as every day was born cloud every dawn, or brands of what was dreams that we will have as every day is born cloud every dawn. The conversion is this. And when you look at everything that is marked in you be events, and you allow God's grace to act on that injured territory, on that territory that has been wounded, I say again, the year was difficult for all of us. I had my difficulties. You had yours. I have my wounds. You have yours. And now only we don't want to turn this year allowing these wounds to continue to determine us. We just want them to teach us, that they lead us to take new positions. This is good. It's good to realize that God acted in your life through what was bad, that God changed your perspectives. This is conversion, my people. That's when we go to God to accomplish in us what we don't know how to do or we don't have the courage. Conversion is that you give God the right to accomplish what you can't even have the courage to perform alone. So many things in my way of being I can't modify alone. I can make my daily effort. But I need this action of God. Conversion is healing. It is a direction of direction. It is to reorient the course in the same way as the day is born and gives me the opportunity to see its entire cycle again. Tomorrow we will have one morning. We will have an afternoon. We will have a night. This cycle I know by color, but everything that will happen throughout this cycle for me will be a suffering. Wherever I go, who I will find, what will I write? What will I say? And all this can be at the service of our conversation. It is you looking at the cycle of this life that never ends. We will always have nights. We will always have mornings. Dawn afternoons. Opportunities. Hours at our disposal. And now, what to do with the time I have? What to do with the day I have? What to do with the new year that is before my eyes? What in my heart I want this year to be more noble? What in my heart I want this year to be higher? I look at the brands that have been. I look at these dreams I have. Past and future concilio, in a wise way to make this conciliation give me a quality gifty. That although life is difficult, we never have to stop. We die a lot when we stop dreaming. We die too much when we idealize and don't dream. When